Hi, my name's Andy Drudy and this is a video about chords. Okay, in this video what I'm going to be doing is covering all the basic chords you need to be able to play, get you started playing jazz standards. Okay, so to do this you need a certain amount of music theory. If your music theory isn't up to scratch, I've got a whole bunch of other videos you need to go back and brush up on your theory, because otherwise you'll be struggling a little bit. Everything I'm going to talk about in this video, you will find a PDF with all the diagrams, all the chord shapes, all the stuff I'm talking about in a link below this video. You can click that, download it and do what you like with it. I'm going to be giving you 3 sets of chords. Why there are 3 sets of chords will become apparent in time. The first set of chords have all got their root notes on the 6th string. Here are the 4 chords. You've got G major 7th, G minor 7th, G 7th and G minor 7th flat 5. Now why I've given you these 4 particular types of chord is because they are the 4 different chord types that you will find in a harmonized major scale. Those 4 different types of chords. And here's the shapes we're going to use. The first chord is G major 7th. Now if you look at this diagram, you'll see if you look at those X's on the left, the notes on the 1st and the 5th strings, you don't want them to sound, so you've got to mute those strings out. These are 4-part chords, so they contain the root, the 3rd, the 5th and the 7th. No notes doubled up. Okay? So this is what it sounds like. And look, and if you know, I've got the 1st and the top string muted out. G major 7th. The next chord along is G minor 7th. Now we're going to play this chord by putting a bar with my 1st finger on the 2nd, 3rd and 4th strings, and then with my 2nd finger getting the G and the root. Again, the 1st and 5th strings are muted out. Okay, the next chord is G 7th. Same thing, 1st and 5th strings muted out. Fairly easy shape to play. Lastly, same deal with this one, 1st and 5th strings muted. You get your 1st finger on the 2nd string and then your 2nd finger on the low G string or the root notes, and like that, G minor 7 flat 5. So here are your 4 chords, G major 7, G minor 7, G 7th and G minor 7 flat 5. Whilst doing this, it's also important that you get your ear attuned to how these chords sound, so that if you ever hear any of these chords, you can instantly recognise what type of chord it is. So be aware of that as we're going through this. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at an F major harmonised scale, and to play this scale we're going to use these 4 different chords we've just learnt. Okay, so for example, the first chord, F major 7th, there's your F root in the bottom there on the 1st fret, and you play the major 7th shape. The next chord is G minor 7, well we've got that already, just slide it up to get the A minor 7, then the B flat major 7th, then C 7th, D minor 7 and E minor 7 flat 5. And you can end with the F major 7th if you have a mind to, but it's the same as the first shape down there. And that is the first lot of chords that we're going to use. All these chords have got their roots on the 6th string. The next lot of chords we're going to look at all have their roots on the 5th string. If we look at these chords here, what you'll notice throughout all these 4 chords we're going to play, all the notes on the 1st and 6th strings are muted out, so it's only the middle 4 strings that we're going to be playing. They're all C-type chords, so the first chord is C major 7th, fairly easy. The next is C minor 7th, with a bar on the 3rd fret. Again, bear in mind the 1st and the 6th strings muted out in all cases here. Then C 7th, and then C minor 7 flat 5. So C major 7, C minor 7, C 7th and C minor 7 flat 5. Okay, now we're going to add to this a B flat harmonised major scale. And we're going to play this scale with this particular set of chords. All the roots for this chord are on the 5th string. So here we go. So B flat is your root on the 5th string, 1st fret, B flat major 7, then C minor 7, slide that up to D minor 7, E flat major 7, F 7th, G minor 7, A minor 7 flat 5, and if you like, stick the B flat major 7 on the end, but you can do that if you like. So this is what we've got. Okay, there you go. The last and final set of chords we're going to take a look at is a set of chords with the root notes on the 4th string. So we're going to look at these all as F shapes. What you'll notice with these chords is the notes on the 5th and the 6th strings are all muted out. We don't want the 5th and 6th strings. So, first chord, F major 7th. You get the root F with your 1st finger and then bar those with your 3rd finger. Similarly with F minor 7, you've got a bar on the 1st and 2nd strings. Then F 7th. And then F minor 7 flat 5, which has got a bar with your 2nd finger on the 4th fret. So major 7th, minor 7th, dominant 7th or F 7th, and F minor 7 flat 5. Okay, now to utilise these chords, we're going to play an E flat harmonised major scale. Okay, on the 4th string, your E flat is there on the 1st fret. So here we go, E flat major 7th, then F minor 7th, G minor 7th, A flat major 7th, B flat 7th, C minor 7, D minor 7 flat 5. Okay, E flat major 7, F minor 7, G minor 7, A flat major 7, B flat 7, C minor 7, D minor 7 flat 5. Okay, so that's our 3 lots of chords that we're going to use. This means you can play any one chord on 3 places on the neck. For example, you can play an F major 7th here on the 1st fret. You can play it here on the 8th fret, or you can play it there on the 3rd fret. And that applies for all those 3 chords. You can play any one of those 4 different types of chords on 3 positions on the neck. So you should be, no matter where you are on the neck, there should be a chord shape fairly local to where you're playing that you can play them. Okay, good. We're going to take a look at one more chord, and the chord we're going to look at, because it comes up so frequently, is a diminished chord. And I'm going to show you 3 shapes for a diminished chord. Right, here's this first shape. In the first shape, you don't play the notes on the 5th and the 6th strings at the bottom. So in the next shape, all we're doing is moving the note on the high E string to the note on the low E strings. And then finally there's this shape. Okay, in the final shape, the 1st and 6th strings, you mute those out. Now you'll notice on this diagram I haven't put a root note on any of these chords. That's simply because a diminished chord can take its name from any of the notes within the chord. That's simply because all the notes in a diminished chord are a minor third apart. And so you've got 4 minor thirds, and that takes you back to where you started off. So effectively, if that's G, that diminished chord there can be a G diminished, a C sharp diminished, a B flat diminished, or an E diminished. If you move it up 3 frets, you'll find that same group of notes but in a different order. Again, move up a minor third, 3 frets, and then you're back where you started. That's the old girl tied to the railway lines in the black and white movies. So if the chord you're looking for is A diminished, for example, all you have to do is find an A note and include that note in the chord, and there's your diminished chord. There's an A on the bottom if you want that. There's an A there. And there you have it. There's an A there. There's an A there. All those chords are A diminished chords. By any one of those notes being in the chord, that will give you diminished chord. That's because all the intervals are the same distance apart. So it's like a kind of a hall of mirrors. You know, we get a mirror and you're looking in the reflections. Well, you in fact start from any one of those reflections and you will see the same image. Okay, that's a diminished chord. I'm going to give you one extra chord. This is a wild card, mainly because this is my favourite chord. This is the best sounding chord you can play on a guitar, in my opinion. And that's this chord. If you play C, and then put your little finger down for a C seventh there, that is a movable chord. So that's C seventh, if you move it up to there, that's D seventh, that's E seventh, F seventh, G seventh. That is such a fantastic sounding chord. And I prefer, there's G seventh, I much prefer the sound of that over that G seventh. Whenever you can slot that shape into whatever it is you're playing, I would recommend you do it, because that chord shape sounds fantastic. It's a really great sounding chord. Sounds way better than that voicing. So I always slot that in wherever. That's a top tip. Okay, there you go. Practice those chord scales and get them under your fingers. And next we'll be looking at, in the next video, we'll be looking at the songbook and giving you a bunch of tunes that you can practice this stuff over. But for now, get those chord shapes down and practice those chord scales. Thank you very much. Please subscribe. There's loads of I've got loads of practice videos, loads of videos on music theory, all kinds of stuff. Please click the subscribe button and have a rummage through and see if there's any other videos that you might find useful for your playing. Okay, thank you very much. See you again.